everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am working on a new journal. I am using the digital kit Foxglove Bliss from Artie Mays. And here I'm just showing you that I've dyed some seam binding to match the colors of the kit. And I've already inked the back of the pages and I've edged around them with the distress ink. And now I want to do some mixed media tags. And so I'm trying to find some sprays that would match the colors on the digitals. What I didn't show, because I can't find the clip, is I just cut out these two tags from cardstock. Since I'm using mixed media mediums on them, I went ahead and applied a coat of gesso. It's just white, like acrylic paint. It's like a ground and it's got tube. And so it stops the paints and the sprays from absorbing into the cardstock, and I'm able to move them around a little better when they're liquid like this. And also, this is also a lesson in don't do like me. I wanted to leave some white space, like down the middle or, of the two colors. And I end up just getting the whole piece colored with no white space. So I knew gesso is usually, the savior for that. But it still didn't give me all the white that I wanted. So just a note, don't be like me. I just had an image in my mind of how I wanted these pieces to look. So even though things changed and it didn't turn out like it's in my head, which, 99% of the times happens, so I didn't get upset or anything. You just kind of roll with it. But like I said, I did use gesso to help whiten up the center there. That you'll see in a little bit. I just felt like the white would help and the color wouldn't overwhelm the tag. That's just the look I was going for this particular time. Now I used some matte gel medium because I have a piece of lacy, I think it could have been a curtain, I'm not sure. And I know it would hold it better. I wasn't too sure if Mod Podge would hold it. I know the glue would hold it, but I wanted inks to go over it, and I couldn't remember how they responded to the Mod Podge. And so that's why I used the matte gel medium. It's pretty thick, and it holds fabric and textured pieces really well to your substrate, which is, in this case, the piece of cardboard. So with mixed medium, you get a lot of texture by using different things. One is this piece of, like I said, it could be fabric, it could be a cutout from something, and it will hold it, and it just gives you layers of texture. And that was just a pickle jar that I put my gesso in because I have it in like a 1 gallon thing. And so it's easier for me to get it out of the jar. But these inks are reactive to water or anything moist. So the gesso just kind of absorbs the color. And so here I was just trying to make sure everything was dry and trying some more layering to try to get enough white back to this. And I do a lot of it off camera after everything is dry. And it does get whiter, but next time I know, just spray in the corners and let it run down. That way I have color coming from the top and color coming from the bottom down the side. And that's what I was looking for. But I always have a hard time leaving white space, and everything always gets colored somehow. It's just the way I roll. Crazy. So here I'm using modeling paste / texture paste. It comes in different names. This jar I got at Hobby Lobby. So I believe it was called modeling. And this is just a stencil, and I'm doing it on the flat part, not where that fabric piece is, just to give, more texture, more visual things for the eye to look at. And texture is fun, and you rub your fingers over it or you see it. It's just a lot of fun. Now, because the inks that I used, they were distress sprays, they're going to become reactive once I put this modeling paste on top. And that will color up that white some. It kind of absorbs the color, and you won't have that stark white. If you're going for that, you might have to do something different. Here, I wanted the white to be absorbed and get some color to it. And a quick note, when you're using modeling paste, clean up immediately. Do not let that stuff harden on your glass or especially on your stencil, because it's almost impossible to come off. So that's what I did. I turned the camera off, ran everything to the sink, and cleaned it. I just happened to let this sit overnight because I started binging on Netflix. So that made sure the modeling paste was nice and dry. But you can see how it took on the blues and the pink colors, so it's not that stark white anymore. But it's still white enough that it pops off the page. So now I'm using archival ink because I like it. It stays. It won't reactivate when wet, in case I decided to use other, mediums on top of it. And I just like it. And I just wanted to add some stamping around. And I call these my grunge stamps. They're like letters and numbers. This one and the next one I think are like it looks like a sewing seam. And I love grunge. And if you look on my Facebook page, I've got a folder there that says My Crafts. So I've got like tons of pictures of things that I've done in the past. Unfortunately, I didn't take videos back then, so I don't even remember how I made them. I have to relearn all my mixed media techniques all over again. And that's what happens when I don't do it for like a year or a day. So here I had in mind, I wanted flowers to go in the center of these tags. And that's why I put the texture pieces sort of towards the edge and around the corner so that it'd be easier to glue my pieces in the center. I knew I wanted a flower. The flower just wasn't going to look right. It was just going to blend in. So that's why I decided, to get some background. And this is a neutral background, so it didn't distract from the picture or from the background, the tag background. Yeah, I got a lot of backgrounds going on here. So that's why I chose the color, and I added another layer that was a script, and it just kind of breaks things up. It helps lift the flower picture up and distinguishes it, kind of, so that you can see that's the focal image. Here is some of the seam binding that I went ahead and dyed using the distress inks that I used. I went in and found some colors to match the colors in the digital kit, and I just did like 4 different colors and a 20-inch strips because I didn't know how much I was going to use. Now that I look at this little Tim Holtz cutout would have looked fine there too. But I had in my mind I wanted to make 2 in this particular manner where, I had the cutout flower and a little bit behind it. But I kind of like that now. Oh well, too late now. So I guess I kind of wanted 2 in the same theme, although not exactly alike. And just kind of the same thing. Someday I'll use that other rose. So again, I'm just kind of layering it up so that the flower image, is raised off that background and helps stand out, and just layers. I like more than one layer for me, and everybody's different, so just whatever looks good. That Tim Holtz cutout was just one layer, and that would have been fine. So I guess it's just what I have in my mind at the moment. And here I'm just looking through my little scrap pieces to see what piece I can put in the middle, because that flower and the background text piece of scrapbook paper just match too much. But I think that that little piece there that I just pulled out is too bold and took away from the image of the flower. Excuse me. I haven't talked in a while. Excuse me, I just had to get a drink. So that light pink kind of separates it. It doesn't stand out as much, and your eye won't focus on it. So that's why I chose that. And again, I'm inking around it so it pops out from the piece below it. And I needed a lace, so I looked at my little scrap bucket. That was the first piece of lace I picked. So I'm like, oh, we can work with that, I didn't have anything particular in mind. So sometimes the first thing you see, is good to go. And when I did the stamping, I kind of, again, did it around the edge. And it doesn't have to cover the whole edge. It just helps move your eye around. I'm learning all these techniques of what you call it and what the eye and the brain like to see. And that was the whole thing that I had to learn when I started art journaling a couple of years ago. Some things appealed to me, some things didn't appeal to me. And the more videos I watched, and they explained, where you place things, it makes the eye move around. And I would say, okay, I like that. And then that's what I would do. I would just learn from what I saw and what I liked, and that's what I did. I copied that idea. It's a technique. And being, junk journaling or art journaling, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to, the full stamp doesn't have to make an impression, And like I said, gesso is like whiteout. If you think you messed up, slap some gesso on it or slap something else on top of it. Nothing is perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. And that's what the freeing feeling that I got from art journaling and then junk journaling. I didn't have to worry about things being perfect, like quilting, the stitches and the seams. Everything had to be that perfect 1/4 inch, otherwise they didn't match up. So don't stress when you're making these things. Just kind of flow with it. Like I said, I have an idea of something in mind, and then it just kind of changes a bit. I think one of these might be out of order, because didn't I already put these on? Oh my God, I don't know what I did now. I hope these are in order. Maybe I've already seen the video, and that's why I think I've done it. That's how bad my brain is. It's like deja vu. So these are just some scrap trims that I got off of eBay years ago. And they're coming in handy now. And I'm pressing really good, to make sure that glue has contact, because it does have those raised areas underneath it. And I haven't done this style in, like I said, over a year, so I'm still a little fuzzy on how to do it. I'm still unsure, but I just wanted to get it done. And that's what you have to do. You have to get it done and not judge yourself. And look at it later. It's like, okay, that is cute, you know. I kind of remember how I used to do things, even though it's not the style I've been doing. But I wanted to use all my mixed media stuff because, you know, it gets old and it dries up and then you have to throw it away. And I want to continue junk journaling, and I can't seem to do both at the same time. And so I'm glad that I'm able to use up some of my sprays and stuff. Later on, to go around the edge, I use a Posca pen. And a Posca pen is, it has acrylic ink in it, so it works really well to write over other paint and other surfaces. But I haven't used it in like a year, so it's like drying up a little bit. So all I do is just open it up, put some more acrylic paint in it, and add some water, shake it up, and it's good to go. And I wanted to use that instead of just a distress ink because I wanted it to stand out more and it would grab better because of the texture that I have here. And I could have also used like a distress crayon, but my black I used up a year ago and I haven't ordered. And I have some black oil pastel crayons that I could have used, but I was too lazy to bend over and grab one. So I grabbed the Posca pen instead because I was also curious to see if it would still work. So yeah, that's how things get used. What I can see and grab first and what I'm not too lazy to get. So looking at these now, they are kind of cute, you know. It's different from the way I've been layering in my journals. And definitely got some mixed media going on here. And mixed media, all that means is you're using different things. I've got sprays, I've got stencils, I've got texture paste, I've got a little acrylic paint here and a pen. And that's all mixed media is. I've got laces, you know, you can have fabrics, I've got images, I've got cardstock, I've got paper, book pages, all that means it's mixed media. So, this wasn't too bad. I kind of fixed my little learning mistake because, like I said, I forgot how to spread the inks around so that I had more white space. Hopefully I'll remember by the time I do my next one. But it was going to get covered up anyway now that I see it with the picture and all. So, no harm done. I didn't stress. If I did stress, it was for nothing. So, I hope this was fun for you to watch. I hope you learned a thing or two. I hope you give mixed media a try. Happy crafting!